Welcome back to the kitchen. Today I'm going to be making some strawberry swirls, and when I tried these they actually taste like strawberry shortcakes but in a biscuit, so that's a good way to describe them. So we need to make our biscuit dough first. So into my bowl is going to go our flour, our sugar and our baking powder. So in that goes. We're then going to use the rubbing in method like we were making a batch of scones. For those that remember making scones, we've actually got our butter, which I've cut into little cubes. So basically we want to put that into our flour mixture. So these have been sitting out, so they actually are at room temperature, so they're actually going to mix in reasonably quickly, hopefully. So we actually need to rub the butter in to actually form our actual dough. So in goes the last of that butter. So get your hands in there and you want to start rubbing that butter in. Now, as I said, these are like little sort of strawberry shortcakes, but in a biscuit form. Now, the thing with these is you have to actually chill the dough down. So once we've got this dough made, it needs to go into the fridge to actually sort of get nice and cold. So for a good half an hour normally it goes into the fridge, and then you can bring it out and then you can roll it out to actually start making the strawberry swirls. But the best thing is also, once we've got our strawberry swirls rolled up, and I'll show you how we do that, it's best to stick it back into the fridge again to allow it a bit more setting. So they do take a wee bit of time, but if you can put that effort into them, the actual end product is really good. So I'm going to show you the stage of making the dough, which I'm doing here now. We're then going to take some dough that I've pre-made. I'm going to show you how to roll it out, so it's already had that time in the fridge. And then I'm actually going to cut them ahead of time and not put them back into the fridge for that extra setting time, and so we can get them into the oven. So we're just rubbing in that butter. It's nice and soft, so it's actually incorporating really well. Just using my fingers, not just the fingertips, but I'm squishing that butter between my hands. So we want to end up looking like fine breadcrumbs is what we're after, which that's coming together quite nicely. Now the recipe calls for 2 eggs. Now if you need to add a wee bit more, then what I suggest you do is just break 1 egg into a little bowl, whisk it up with a fork and just add a wee bit at a time. Don't add another whole egg. It does depend on the size of the eggs. So we've got that resembling nice fine breadcrumbs. So I've got my 2 eggs here, which I've got in a container. I'm just going to lightly mix those together with a fork, just to virtually break up the yolk. Bit of a well in the bowl of our mixture and pour all of that in. Now initially I mix it in with the fork to combine that wet egg mixture with the dry, and then it will start to come together, which it's doing now quite nicely. Scrape down your fork because you've got lots of moisture still on there, and then you want to get generally just one hand in there to begin with and start to bring the cookie dough together. So I can tell I'm not going to need any more moisture added to that. So I'll just scrape down my fingers. I've got all that wonderful cookie dough on them. So there's our cookie dough, already set to go, but as you can see, it's quite soft. So that's why we put it into that fridge to chill down. So that's the stage now you'd put that into the fridge. Just going to pull this out. Need to give my hands a bit of a wash so I can do the next stage with you. So we'll get rid of that cookie dough. So this next stage you need to do between either some greaseproof paper, or often I prefer to use some Glad wrap. So just make sure your bench is relatively clean. You want to roll out or get out some Glad wrap, put it onto the bench. So I've got half of the quantity that you've just seen me make. So this is nice and cold. It's been in the fridge, so it's chilled down. So then we take our second piece of Glad wrap and put that over the top. And then we can get our rolling pin and we can start to roll our mixture out between the Glad wrap. So we want to roll it out into a rectangle because we're going to roll this mixture up to make our strawberry swirls. Now, if you're not sure if you think it's sticking and you're a bit concerned, just lift up your Glad wrap and you actually see that it's still doing its thing and it's not sticking. So we can just roll that out again, keep going as we go. And if we use the Glad wrap, the good thing about the Glad wrap is that it actually can be rolled up to go back into the fridge for that next chilling stage. We'll just roll it this way a wee bit. And there we go. I think that's about the size we want. So take off the top piece of Glad wrap just carefully so it doesn't tear. Then we're going to get our nice strawberry jam. So that's where the strawberry part comes from. And on goes our strawberry jam. Spread it out. Don't spread it too much to the top edge, and you'll see why when I start to roll it, because we don't want it to all squirt out the top. But we can bring it down to the bottom edge as much as we want. A bit more there in the middle. And then, as I said, it kind of has a taste like a bit like a strawberry shortcake. So a wee bit of cinnamon just helps bring out that flavour. So a little sprinkle of cinnamon over the top. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start to roll it up. So what I need to do is to give myself an edge to start. So we're just going to start that process, excuse me. So we're just going to lift that up. And now we can start rolling it. So you can see how the jam's now getting squished to the side. That's why we don't want to take too much. Now we can get our Glad wrap involved. And we can bring our Glad wrap, keep it inside the Glad wrap, bring it up over the top. So there we've made our nice spiral. So at this stage now, I would then wrap this completely in the Glad wrap and put it in the fridge to chill for another half an hour. But just to show you the next stage, so you imagine that's been in the fridge chilling down. You would then get your cookie tray, spray it well with cooking spray, get your knife, and then you're going to cut your strawberry swirls and put them onto the tray. Around about 1 centimetre in width. But as I said, you've got to remember to put them into the fridge at this stage. It just helps chill them down. But you can get the general idea. So we'll just keep cutting these just to fill my tray. A couple more. So we'll just bring that together. So as I said, this is where this comes in handy. You can just roll it completely up in the Glad wrap. And if you imagine that goes in the fridge to chill, and then you would have brought it out and chopped them into your little cookies and then into the oven. So with about 15 minutes of cooking time, they come out of the oven. We've got that nice spiral shape. They're nice and golden brown on the bottoms. The jam's still there, so you can put them onto your plate that you're going to serve them, or they'll be great in the school lunches. And as I said, it's a bit like a taste of a strawberry shortcake in your mouth. And then if you're putting them out for afternoon tea, if you had some friends coming around and you've done the home baking, then just a little dust of icing sugar down them just to finish them off. And there we have our wonderful strawberry swirls.